Amables amigos, welcome to another episode of the Club Lucha podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Foos, alongside with Float,
Hello.
and we are back at it this week again. We promised an episode this week, and while we're a little bit late, maybe a couple days late, we're here, and we are delivering on that promise. We are missing again today our good friend Soups, who is out on hiatus still. Very busy guy. So, Soups, if you're listening, we miss you, we appreciate you, and we would love to have you back whenever you come back. In other news, I guess just to start off, we have a pretty packed episode today. We're going to be talking through quite a few things. Our Lucha flashback, of course, we're starting off with that. And then we're going to be talking about a documentary that we watched over the life of El Perro Aguayo, CMLL news roundup, some news regarding Triplemania, really a bunch of everything from the biggest companies to even Mexican indies as well. So we are glad to have everyone on. And to start the episode, I actually want to say thank you for everyone listening. If you are not aware, the Club Lucha podcast is now officially 1 year old. First episode I recorded May 20th and posted it May 20th of 2023. It is now May 22nd at time of recording. So this podcast is officially 1 year old, and this is our 14th episode. So hooray! But I was hoping to have more episodes out by now. Unfortunately, time is very limited, and at least we did one episode a month.
Yes.
If it averages out at least one episode a month, we'd like to step that up a little bit, shoot for more, an episode a week if possible. But life gets in the way sometimes, and you have to take a step back and take care of some things before you're able to and do the things you enjoy, I guess. That being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into the Lucha flashback. What are we talking about today, Floak?
This week's Lucha flashback, we're going to be covering an iconic apuestas match between Mascara Año 2000 and Perro Aguayo.
Mascara Año 2000 and Perro Aguayo. So, for everyone not aware of either of these guys, how would you describe both of these luchadores?
Perro Aguayo, one of the most iconic luchadors of all time. He's probably, whenever you think of luchadors that didn't wear masks, or they were iconic for they were just dudes that they were just had their plain simple black trunk, or they had a slight detail difference to their attire, but they were always unmasked. Perro Aguayo always comes to mind.
He really is. I mean, he is an icon through and through. Mm-hmm. Maybe, honestly, a bit underappreciated by people outside of Lucha Libre, I would say. Would you
Possibly,
say that's a fair thing to say? For people who aren't really I guess into it or know a lot of the background or history behind it, I think he could be underrated a lot by them.
Yes, I would say slightly, because I feel like he's still one of the bigger names. Whenever you think of Lucha Libre, yeah.
I guess maybe in the sense that when people say oh, who are the greats of Lucha Libre, people say El Santo, Blue Demon, Mil Máscaras, and I think that Perro Aguayo is on that same tier,
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Absolutely, but Perro Aguayo, what do we know about Mascara Año 2000?
Well, we know Mascara Año 2000 was, a part of one of the greatest groups of all time, Los Hermanos Dinamita. Had a countless amount of great matches alongside his brothers, and the catalog that they had in the 80s and the 90s is just insane.
They were them. I mean, they were the top rudos, right?
They were top dog.
If you watch AAA, if you go back and watch those AAA shows from back then, I was just looking through it. I was like, Los Hermanos Dinamita are in so many main events. These guys are legitimately always in there with Conan, Perro Aguayo, Hijo del Santo and them. I think Hijo del Santo went up against them a few times. I would say Conan and Perro Aguayo had the more memorable rivalry with them.
Yeah, they definitely And then, I mean, even their matches against, for example, other groups, like, at the time, like, Los Villanos and Los Infernales, like,
God, I mean,
plenty of good matches.
literally, Cien Caras and Rayo de Jalisco Jr. I mean, I think they have their aniversario show has the record for most people at a CMLL show in Arena Mexico, right?
Yeah, I think you were talking to me about that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they were top dogs. They were top dogs of
Yeah,
their era. They definitely were selling tickets, I guess. But
big time.
this match, I guess I want to give a little context, a little background behind the match before we, I
Go
guess, jump into it. This is the first Triplemania, right? Very first one is 93. Triple starts in 92. 93 comes around. We get the first Triplemania. 48,000 fans in attendance. They ran this show at La Plaza de Toros Monumental in Ciudad de Mexico. This is the largest bullfighting ring in the world, seated 42,000. But it could be adjusted. The way I guess the configuration can be adjusted to fit up to 50,000. When I was looking up these numbers, this is listed as like the highest drawing lucha libre show ever.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't see one, I guess, static number, but it was saying that the attendance is somewhere between 48,000 and 50,000 people.
That's a big number.
It's massive. And the card, just looking at the card, it was pretty stacked as well. I also saw that according to Box and Lucha, in addition to the 50,000 people watching inside the arena, there were an additional 6,000 people watching from the parking lot because it was just a complete sellout. So I'm not sure if that number is included in like the total attendance, but just, I guess, food for thought. Like there's nearly 50,000 people on the inside and there's 6,000 people in the parking lots watching the matches too.
Yeah, that's even more people than you would have expected, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, some shows you can't draw that today, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think AAA could draw. I mean, well, actually, I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
I can't think of any. I guess maybe like a WWE or an AEW show could probably draw 48 pretty easily. Well, not pretty easily. But I guess for like a big show.
Mexico or talking?
Oh no, not in Mexico. Just like
okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I don't know who's drawing 48,000 in Mexico right now.
No
clue.
No, you know, unless you're delusional, you know, like two certain wrestlers.
I mean, hey, maybe you can run it in Estadio Azteca, bro.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, but some notable matches that also went on at Triplemania, the first Triplemania. We had Misterioso, Volador, and Rey Misterio Jr. facing off against Los Destructores, Tony Arce, Vulcano, and Rocco Valente. El Hijo del Santo, Octagon, and Villano Tercero faced off against Fuerza Guerrera, Heavy Metal, and Rambo. Lizmark, he went up against La Parca for the Mexican National Light Heavyweight Championship. Then we had Love Machine, Art Bar, teaming up with Mascara Sagrada and Mascarita Sagrada against Blue Panther, Jerry Estrada, and Jerrito Estrada. And then the main event for this evening, the main event for this card, was not this Perro Aguayo match. It was actually Conan against Cien Caras. The loser has to retire. And one other tidbit of information for this as well. Jake the Snake Roberts was at this Triplemania, and he actually played into the finish of the main event for this Triplemania. He kind of, I guess in a way, spoiler, caused Conan to quote-unquote retire for a bit. But, you know, if you...
We all know that.
Yeah, he didn't stay retired. It was just a kind of a brief thing. But it was pretty stacked, honestly. They had a lot of names on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the names that you were just listing off, big names, lots of big names.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could, I mean, golly, like
you named Lizmark. You said Hijo del Santo was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Machine and Blue Panther facing off against each other.
The Mascarita Sagrada was on there too, right?
Yeah. Mascara Sagrada and Mascarita Sagrada. Rey Mysterio was there with Volador and Misterioso. I guess when they were kind of a trio. I mean, they had a few matches together.
Conan was on the show.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, like stacked card. I mean, it drew 48,000, so I guess
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean,
it's good stuff. But I mean, we could spend the whole episode just talking about that Triplemania. We won't. Maybe one day we will, though. I think it might be fun to go through a few of those matches. Yeah.
Maybe if if enough people ask for it, maybe for like Triplemania Ciudad de Mexico, we'll consider it.
We might do like our favorite Triplemanias, like our favorite matches.
Yeah, because they're like favorite Triplemania main events.
If we're being real, I mean, like Triplemania has not always been bad. You know, they've had some pretty good ones, and they had some pretty good matches. Even in some of the shows where the overall show maybe wasn't that good. For the most part, they usually have at least 1 or 2 good matches per show, I would say.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back and focus on El Perro Aguayo. I guess this is more of a Perro episode than anything else. Yeah. Some more, I guess, context surrounding Perro Aguayo I have written down here. Just some stuff that I thought was pretty interesting. His apuestas record. Perro Aguayo, I guess, if you want to put it in the simplest terms, this guy, we were talking him up like crazy earlier, and there's a reason he's regarded so highly and like just as such a beast, right?
Yep.
He has had apuestas matches with some of the biggest names of his era. He faced off against El Solitario, Ringo Mendoza, René Guajardo, El Faraón, Villano Tercero, Sangre Chicana, Kato Kung Lee, Scorpio, Gran Marquez, Ultraman, El Tejano, Negro Navarro, Tony Salazar, Estuca, Conan, and probably the biggest name in Lucha Libre, El Santo, right?
Yeah.
He had a pretty, I would say, famous, maybe infamous match with El Santo. He was one of the last guys who had apuestas with El Santo when he was getting up there in age, I guess, before he was getting ready to call it a career. I think he was in the retirement match, right, for El Santo.
I think so, yeah.
He was in that last match, but you can't the thing about that era, you can't find good videos of that match.
Yeah.
But you can read reports, I guess, from people who were there and people who actually saw it. And from what I've read, he kind of gave it to El Santo, right? Like, from what I read, he beat El Santo up. Like, he beat him up pretty bad. He ripped up his mask, but he didn't win. So, and that's the thing too.
Gave a valiant effort.
Yeah, he gave valiant efforts against a lot of guys, you know, and he didn't beat like El Solitario, right? He didn't beat a bunch of these guys who like obviously kept being masked after the fact, but to go up against these guys and still, I guess, retain your
pride, you could say,
your momentum as well, like your career to still be at such a high level. That's very impressive as well. I mean, he, kind of gave it everything he got, and sometimes he walked away the winner, and sometimes he walked away the loser, but he walked away every time, right?
Yes.
Mascara Año 2000, on the other hand, he had taken some pretty big not some pretty big masks. He took a few masks by this point. He'd been wrestling for 15 years. The biggest mask he took before facing off with El Perro Aguayo was Anibal. Anything you got to say about Anibal?
I honestly can't remember much about him.
Off the top of my head, the only thing I can think about Anibal is he was one of like the guys of his era. Yeah. And I guess when Mascara Año 2000 went up against him, he was a little bit winding down, I guess. More than a little bit winding down. He was winding down his career. And he faced off against Mascara Año 2000. Couldn't get the job done, and unfortunately lost his mask there. So, say about that what you will, but Mascara Año 2000 came into this match with at least one very valuable mask to his name. A little more context. I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I did a good bit of research on this. I guess just because I like learning about what leads into these sorts of things, like the apuestas, and because I mean, sometimes they're not super story heavy in that there's like 15 promo battles before they do it, and like 15 segments and all this stuff, or like somebody steals some guy's dog. Oh, now we're having an apuestas. That's not how it works. Like ever really. Especially, well, I guess not on the serious sides of apuestas. It's more of like a long time rivalry that finally culminates into two guys, you know, saying, "Okay, let's settle this," you know.
Let's settle this once and for all. My hair versus your mask.
Exactly. And Perro Aguayo and Mascara Año 2000 did have a history with each other already. This was not their first time crossing paths. I went into cage match actually, so maybe not the most accurate source, especially for lucha libre. I don't want to say any of these things with definite, you know, being like this is the first date they ever crossed paths. But the first time I could find it was in AMLL. The first time Mascara Año 2000 and Perro Aguayo faced off, 1985. That was the first time they were on opposite teams. I believe it was a trios, 3-on-3, so it wasn't even mano a mano. And then from that point until this apuestas, I found 27 matches between EMLL and AAA where Perro Aguayo and they teamed up a few times too, from what I found. But again, these are just, I guess, like the major matches like that are actually recorded.
Yeah.
You have to like consider as well. Probably
like
worked.
Local, like independent shows, local show, yeah.
Exactly. Those aren't marked in cage match. A lot of those are not recorded and kind of just lost the time. But I mean, they cross paths quite a lot. And this was kind of like, you know what, let's settle this right now. You and me, right?
Yeah.
At Perro Aguayo, for a long time, yeah, I guess this is fair to say. For a long time, he was mainly known as a rudo. A great rudo as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he would beat you up. He would just straight beat you up.
Yeah. He would just beat you up, make you bleed, you know, work the crowd.
They would be cheering for him to beat you up.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you would be getting the dirt kicked out of you. And the crowd would be going crazy because the Perro Aguayo is just laying it into you, right?
Yep.
In this feud, though, Perro Aguayo is more of a face, more of a technical.
Yeah.
As much as he could be, because as we'll see in the match, he's not the cleanest technical.
Yeah, especially to win.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Perro Aguayo and Conan teaming together against Los Dinamita around this time as well. The week before, I thought this was actually funny when I was looking at this. In the TV tapings for AAA, the week before Triplemania, it was Conan and Perro Aguayo against Cien Caras and Mascara Año 2000. But that match didn't air until after Triplemania.
That's
so
funny.
like, yeah.
So it's like, why is he masked?
Yeah, he lost his mask, but the next week on TV he has his mask back on because it was recorded the week before. That's just interesting. Anyway, that's all the context I have. We can just jump right into the match from here.
All right.
Let's talk about it. What are your first impressions, introductions, the entrances? What stood out to you while they were coming to the ring?
Man, those entrants, they owe, you know, whenever I go back and rewatch matches, it makes me like really appreciate the entrance. It's like, you know, especially with like the crowd, how just like the crowd used to react. Like they still do for some wrestlers nowadays, but like just back then, the energy they gave was just like something else, man.
It's crazy. 48,000 too. Like the crowd shots they were showing?
Insane. Yeah, just
crazy.
Bunch of people.
I wish the video was in higher quality. I wish we had a 1080p.
That would be something else, man.
I think it was in what, 360 or 480 maybe even 240.
Yeah, somewhere right. Yeah, it was 360 or 480. Yeah.
So it was, you know, you can tell what's happening, but the details of like the crowd, and when they're coming in, where there's no light being shown on them, it's very blurry. So, but you can definitely tell the amount of people that are in there.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. What I have here is Perro Aguayo, his music, his entrance music, beast.
Yeah.
La Marcha de Zacatecas, bro. I feel like
Great
that's
theme.
like that encapsulates El Perro Aguayo, you know?
Great theme, yeah. Great theme for him.
And it's like if you listen to it, if you've never heard it, look it up. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. You're gonna listen to it and be like, "What? He's come out to this?" And yeah, and it was awesome. Like it's that old timey, like almost like a military band type music, you know?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's like one of the national, like, or maybe one of the state songs for that region. But it's awesome. Mascara Año 2000, he comes out dressed like a charro. He's got the jacket, he's got the hat on. His entrance music is a song called El Son de la Negra. It's like a traditional mariachi kind of song, which
Nice one. It's a
yeah,
nice tune.
it's good. It's good. It matches him too because he is, you know, I think he is from Jalisco.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he sings that kind of music like on the side.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, so he has recorded music in that mariachi style where he's singing, so fits in perfectly. One thing that I thought was really funny, well, he gets him like a mariachi band too, and he gets like dancers too in the traditional, like I don't know what region that sort of
It's just
dance.
that special.
Yeah,
It's
but
that special.
what I thought was funny is when he's coming out, he's wearing that big hat, and somebody in the crowd keeps hitting the back of the hat, and he turns around, and I don't know if he's looking at the guy who hits it or if he's looking at Universo 2000, who's the second for this match, bro. I just thought it was so funny.
we should review some of his music.
It's probably it's on Spotify. It is on Spotify.
Yeah.
I've listened to some of it. It wasn't bad. I liked it. He's definitely got like the voice and the look.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I mentioned, Mascara Año 2000, his second is Universo 2000. Perro Aguayo, his second is Misterioso. So, and then our ref for this match is El Chocolate. How did this thing start off for you, Flog? What stood out to you from the very beginning of this match?
Oh, that first fall was pretty quick.
Yeah.
The way that El Chocolate just kind of like called the first fall, and then you know how they had to like do the replay,
Yeah.
and I was like, that didn't look like a foul to me, but it might be because of the video quality, but I guess it might have been a foul.
Yeah. So
Because to me, it did not look like a foul. At least to me, it didn't look like a foul. It looked like he like hit him like slightly, a little like higher up than what would be considered a foul.
exactly. For everyone, I guess, who has not seen this, Flog's not lying when he says it's super quick. Literally, the entrances are done, and like you know when they take like a picture, like when they stand together in the middle of the ring, and they take a picture. When they're doing that, Mascara Año 2000 just starts beating up Perro Aguayo. He kind of like jumps him, and I counted this out. He kicked Perro Aguayo in the chest literally 7 times in a row, and Perro Aguayo bumped like every time. And then he does a back body drop. Perro Aguayo gets Mascara Año 2000 in the corner, starts punching him, and then the ref calls a foul.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Like, that's the entire first fall. The punch, allegedly, one of the punches was low. It just looked like he punched him in the stomach. I think that was like the ref like building heat, I guess, for Perro Aguayo and Mascara Año. I mean, because like got the crowd kind of upset. Perro Aguayo's upset. You know, why'd you call a foul on that? Very clearly wasn't. And when that happened, I actually for a second thought, I was like, oh wait, is this like is this gonna be like Perro Aguayo against the ref and Mascara Año 2000? Like he has to fight against both?
Yeah.
But the second fall kind of proved for me, okay, maybe they're going in a different direction with this. Fall 2.
Yeah, why don't you talk about Fall 2 for us?
I'll give you fall two really quick because it was not super long either, right?
No, it wasn't
Um,
super long.
fall two, it starts off. Perro Aguayo is still mad at Chocolate. He's trying to get a new ref. He's trying to complain about a new ref. And then Mascara Año 2000 starts beating him up again. And one of my favorite parts of this fall, if not my absolute favorite part of this entire fall, is Mascara Año 2000 just starts like punching the hell out of Perro Aguayo's chest and torso. Like, as fast as he can, he's punching him in the chest and the torso. And I don't know if you've ever watched that movie. It's like a kung fu movie about Bruce Lee's like teacher. It's called Ip Man.
I don't think I have.
There's a scene where like he very quickly punches like this guy he's fighting in the chest. Like, swear to God, he punches him in the chest like 20 or 30 times, and that's what I felt like I was seeing. Mascara Año 2000 was just laying punches into Perro Aguayo, and what I thought was gonna happen was Perro Aguayo was just gonna no sell the punches and just hit Mascara Año 2000 one time and knock him down, and it kind of happened, but not really. After like he does all those punches, Perro Aguayo does go down, but then he gets back up again, and this is where I was like, actually, this is more beast than what I thought, because Mascara Año 2000 tries to do the same thing again, punching him in the chest and the torso like as many times as he can, but this time Perro Aguayo like rears back,
Yeah.
punches him like in the face, knocks him down. Perro Aguayo hits his lanza, the double stomp.
Yeah.
And then, before I think he can do anything else, when Universo 2000 trips him, he slides Mascara Año 2000 brass knuckles. Mascara Año 2000 decks Perro Aguayo with him right in the face. Referee sees it, DQ. Second fall's over.
The brass knuckles to me look kind of weird.
Yeah, I was like, what type of brass knuckles are those? Because they look not like brass knuckles. But they function like them, so that's what I assumed they were.
Yeah.
Maybe I gotta go back and listen to the commentary again, because what I thought it was some brass knuckles, but could have just been a foreign object. But he decks him, and then
he still decked him.
yeah. This is kind of like when my idea of what the match was gonna be like shattered, because I was like, oh well, Chocolate called that DQ, so like I guess he is just calling it down the middle, and that first fall was just kind of weird, but
Yep.
That's good stuff. And just like that, though, one fall apiece. We're in the third and final fall of this Apuestas match. And what did you enjoy the best of this third fall, Flo?
The third fall was pretty lengthy compared to the other two falls, and what I enjoyed the most about the third fall was honestly like the moments where they were just fighting on the outside. I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
especially when they were like already like you could tell like, yeah, these guys are bloodied up, and then they're just brawling on the outside. There was a moment where Mascara Año 2000 was trying to get back into the ring, right, and then Perro Aguayo dragged him out.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, that was great.
I loved Perro Aguayo was like bouncing his head off those barricades like a basketball, bro. Like he would like punch him, drag him over to the barricade, smash his head on the barricade, punch him some more, drag him to another one, smash his head. I was like, this is that real, bro. Like, it's just a good brawl on the outside.
Yeah.
And like you said, they were all bloodied up. Mascara Año 2000, for people who don't know what his mask looks like, it's like white with black designs on it. And I think the top of the mask is black. Like, in the third fall of this match, you look at Mascara Año 2000, like, the entire right side of his mask is completely,
you can see
you
can see the red stains.
Like, tons of blood on that. I was like, golly, like, these boys are cooking right now. That Cavernaria?
Dude, the way that one looked so painful.
God almighty. Brutal submission hold to Cavernaria. We had some topes in this final fall. I made a note here that both Mascara Año 2000 and Perro Aguayo both hit a really good tope suicida here in this fall. There is a sequence where Mascara Año 2000, he puts Perro Aguayo in La de Caballo. And then
yeah.
Perro gets out and he puts Mascara Año 2000 in the same hold. And then...
And the way that the commentary was like, is he going to tap out?
Yes, bro. Had me thinking that it might have been over here, but...
Yeah.
This final sequence, I really enjoyed. It was... kind of like... There was like... I guess to set it up, Mascara Año 2000 hits his Perro's finisher, that lanza from the second rope.
Yeah.
Hits Perro right in the chest, right in the heart. He goes for a couple pins. He can't get them. And then Perro Aguayo gets back up. I think Perro Aguayo goes for his own pin. Kind of stuns Mascara Año 2000 for a second. He gets back up. Perro Aguayo drop kicks him out of the ring. He fakes a tope. Mascara Año 2000 walks off to the side. And, I mean, that's like the worst thing you can do against Perro Aguayo, right?
Yeah.
Because he just gets on that apron. He runs at you. And he hits you with La Silla.
Yep.
And after that, I love La Silla, by the way. I think that's one of my favorite, like...
it's just a great move.
Because it looks so interesting. And, like, they can kind of do that. That's a move that you can kind of do at any age, you know? Like, even the older guys can handle that move. Because it's not as stressful, I guess, on the body. Negro Casas used it. Perro Aguayo Jr. used it. I'm sure a lot of other people have used it too, but... Perro gets Mascara Año 2000 back into the ring. And then I think Perro Aguayo goes to bounce off the ropes and maybe... I don't know if he was going for a lance again.
Something like that, yeah.
But Universo 2000 jumps up on the apron, punches Perro Aguayo in the face, knocks him down. Mascara Año 2000 starts stomping out... the ref comes over to start scolding Universo 2000 because he saw him hit Perro Aguayo. Mascara Año 2000 starts stomping out Perro Aguayo. And then our técnico, bro. Our técnico in this match, our baby face. Big low blow. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Mascara Año 2000 has lost his mask.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved that finish.
I mean, it just shows he was willing to do what he had to do to take his mask.
And that's just Perro Aguayo, right? Like,
exactly.
That's like a good, like, I mean, you do what you have to do in that situation. He did what he had to do. And he came away with a victory. It wasn't clean, but it was a win, you know?
Exactly.
After the match, the ref, Chocolate, gets beat up by Universo 2000, bro. Like, his shirt was all ripped open. And then Mascara Año 2000 takes off his mask. His name is Jesus Reyes Gonzalez. That bloody mask. And that is it. He runs to the back, angry. And Perro Aguayo celebrates for a little bit in the ring before also walking off, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Good stuff. Really good stuff. I don't know. What overall, give me your thoughts. How would you, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate this?
4.25. Maybe nearing 4.5.
That's good. I would say, yeah, 4. I would say anywhere between 4 and 5 is fair, and I can see it. Different tastes and stuff, you know. But yeah, I would say 4.5. If I had to rank it out of 5, yeah. It was really good, brawly, like true brawling apuestas match with Perro Aguayo and Mascara Año 2000. Not a lot to complain about here. I really, you know. At first, I thought I was, like I said earlier, I thought I was going to complain. I'm like, oh, the ref is too involved being against Perro Aguayo. But no, that's not how this turned out at all. And I'm, you know, happy about that. It was good.
Yeah, it was a good match. Really,
really good stuff. And this actually is a perfect segue, talking about Perro Aguayo, a perfect segue into our next segment, which is his documentary. Let's talk about that. What did you think about it?
overall, I think it was definitely like it's a few years old, but I thought it was great, and overall, a very good effort, and a lot of props to the people that worked on it, because you can tell they definitely puts a lot of heart and emotion to that into the documentary to try to best represent Perro Aguayo and his legacy.
For sure. So, the name of the documentary, for anyone interested, is Un Mexico Perro. Right, that's the name. El héroe verdadero, which is, the true hero. I guess if you're translating it directly. Um, and it is about Perro Aguayo. It came out in 2021.
Oh wow.
And it was just released last week. Yeah.
Somewhere around that time.
It was released last week for free. Not like released in general. It released in 2021, but it was released for free last week on, what was it, Vimeo or Daily Motion?
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it on Daily Motion.
Yeah, but it's not like a rip. Like the official account, Record Plus, they uploaded it. So it's like if you're watching it, you're watching the official, release. You're not watching like a sketchy link or anything. But yeah, no, I think the things that stood out to me the most, it was a really, like you said, really emotional, and it really gave some perspective, I guess, for people who maybe are not super, like I was mentioning earlier, people maybe not super familiar, not super into lucha libre, and like the history and like the people, the heroes that were in it. It did a really good job of like canonizing, I guess, like the legacy of Perro Aguayo and like what he meant to people, because it had like not only, and this to me I think made it really really emotional, was it had a lot of his peers and like fellow luchadores, Carístico, Dr. Caronte, Rey Mysterio,
Mysterio,
Canek,
los villanos, cuarto y quinto.
yeah, los villanos, Mascara Año 2000, Cien Caras,
Sangre Chicano. Yeah, Sangre Chicano was in it.
yeah, Cibernético, LA Park.
hmm
It had a lot of them talking about Perro Aguayo and like their experiences with Perro Aguayo and how they remembered him, but it also
Oh, it
had,
even had Iman Gonzalez. Yeah.
yeah, it did, and it also had his childhood friends.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, damn, they tracked those guys down, like Perro Aguayo was not a young guy, like that was a
Yeah. Nah.
really long time ago, and a pretty like he didn't grow up in Ciudad de Mexico, he grew up in a pretty rural area out in Zacatecas, like not like in like any major city or anything. So to me, I was like, wow, they went out and found those guys, and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
They went out of the way.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, some of those guys like passed away too.
Yeah.
Like it would tell you in the documentary, because I'm assuming it was recorded around 2018 or 2019. They did all
Yeah,
the
because it was
filming.
before Villano Cuarto lost his mask.
Mm-hmm. It was before Villano Cuarto lost his mask. Dr. Coronte was still alive. Carístico was still
Yeah.
Carístico.
Yeah.
And one other thing that dated it for me was Rey Mysterio was wearing one of his Roots of Fight jackets. And that was the very first one they released. So I was like, that's from 2018. I know that's from 2018. So it had to be between 2018 and 2019 when they recorded most of these. But another thing that was really, really touching to me was they talked a lot about his son, Perro Aguayo Jr., Hijo de Perro Aguayo.
Especially the parts like Rey Mysterio talking about Hijo del Perro Aguayo.
Bro, that killed me, dude.
Yeah.
That destroyed me. And I think for that segment alone, I feel like it should be like required viewing, I guess.
Yeah.
For anyone, this is like a quick tangent. For anyone who ever makes jokes about like that incident and like Rey Mysterio and Perro Aguayo Jr., Like, watch this and just like rethink before you talk. You know, like
Mhm.
consider what you're saying about that situation, about that quite literal, tragic,
Yeah,
tragic accident before you
like
want to
just
pop some jokes off about it. You know.
yeah, like just think about what Rey Mysterio probably what he the backlash that he had to deal with, and not only that, but just like the fact that he didn't mean to he accidentally killed one of a friend that he had in the sport of lucha libre. Like just think about that.
Exactly. But it just did such a good job of like, I don't know, just putting it in perspective, because you look at that and you're like, yeah, it's a tragic, very, very tragic accident. But then you look at it a little deeper with this and like how they speak about it. And it's like, man, like for many people that night, that was the worst night of their lives, you know?
Yeah, especially with the part where they actually had like their Perro Aguayo's hijo de Perro Aguayo's sister and his mom talk about the whole situation.
Bro, like that killed me, bro. Like legit, tears were shed. Tears were absolutely shed. I was
Yeah,
like, God, this is hard to watch in that you feel so much empathy and like,
it's just so saddening.
yeah, it's very clearly communicated not only what the family felt, but from their perspective, how they saw Perro Aguayo, the father,
Yeah,
how they saw it affected him.
yeah, because they said that like I can't remember the exact words like they used, but they said that like something about like that's like the moment where like he slowly started dying. So they said something along those lines, right?
Yeah, because like, and it said like they were talking about it, and this part absolutely killed me because when it was like talking about that night, and they were talking about how the things that Pedro Guayo said when he found out, like I guess the thoughts that he expressed, and about how he had given so much to Lucha Libre.
Hmm.
He had given so much, and it took from him the
The
one thing
most,
he loved the
yeah.
most, his son. You know, but then just immediately after that, you feel all this empathy and you feel all this sadness, and then in the very same segment, it's proven just how good of a man El Perro Aguayo was, because immediately after saying that about losing the one thing he loved the most, he immediately tells his family to go and give Rey Mysterio a hug and to
Hmm.
let him know this was an accident. Like, this is part of lucha libre. Many people, especially, are like, oh well, you know, the phrase "la lucha es falsa," right?
Yeah,
It's not real. It's real. Like, you know, it's real
real
in the
people
way
get
that
injured.
people die.
Yeah, people die in the ring. We've seen it multiple times, not just with Hijo del Perro Guayo, but even cases before him with people like Oro.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it gives and it takes, and I think that makes it a lot more special of a thing. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know, but not to get too heavy on this episode. Let's tone it back. Let's bring it back a little bit. But
Yeah,
um, overall, guarantee if you watch this documentary, it's free online. Um, if you need a link, I posted one on Twitter. But if you can't find it, send me a DM. Send one of us a DM, and I'll send you the link to it.
or
Again, it's the
or
official.
the email.
Yeah, yeah. Send an email to theclublucha@gmail.com and I'll send it to you. But I absolutely recommend it. I kind of want to make like a longer video just talking about it on the YouTube channel, but I would highly recommend it. You know, that's for
Yeah,
me. That's one of my favorite um, overall, just like wrestling pieces of media
it
slash
was great.
movies. Yeah,
It was a great documentary, especially after after how many documentaries we've seen of what caused the death of WCW. We
exactly.
finally we get something different. We get to see a documentary about a legend in lucha libre history. Perro Aguayo.
Yeah, there are some good lucha libre documentaries. I've
Mhm.
seen some on YouTube. I like. There's one called Máscaras y Cabelleras. Matemático's in that one. He talks about facing Blue Demon for his mask.
Nice.
But there's a few. There's a few lucha libre documentaries, and I think that there should be more. And I think that they should be given the same production value as this one had. 'Cause this one was
Yeah,
really impressive.
there could be honestly just like there's countless of wrestlers that you could honestly have documentaries on.
Yeah,
Like
like you
thinking of it
said.
like Villanos, you know.
Yeah, like you said. How many times do we have to hear about the death of WCW, bro? How many different times do we have to hear about? We know what caused the death of WCW by now.
Yeah,
How many different perspectives do we have to hear on that? When we could be hearing about, like you said, los villanos,
Villanos, you know,
la ola
Villanos,
blanca,
Fishman.
Fishman. Like, there's so many stories, interesting stories of real superheroes, basically. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know. Anyway, if you can, go out and watch the documentary. It really it has subtitles. If you don't speak Spanish, you only speak English. It has subtitles, and you will absolutely understand what's going on throughout the whole thing. Anyway, we can take a step ahead and jump into our. We spent quite a bit of time on that, so we can just, I guess, kind of breeze through what we have. Also in the episode, CMLL stuff. Let's talk some results on CMLL. What do you have for me, Flo?
So before we jump into the Friday show, I don't think we covered the Tuesday show. But on the Tuesday show we had Los Barbaros retain. To be specific, it was the 14th of May Tuesday show, and we had Los Bárbaros defend their CML World Trios titles against Los Divinos Laguneros, Blue Panther Jr., Hijo de Blue Panther, and Dark Panther, and I would say a pretty good match.
That was an awesome match. I like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed what they brought. And then we also had another pretty good match between Neon Futuro and Max Star versus Crisus Vegas and Difunto.
I don't remember too much about that one actually.
I enjoyed the pacing of that one. It had a few awkward. It had like a slight few awkward moments, but I really enjoyed that one.
I think my favorite one of that night was the Panthers match.
I think that one was my favorite, or that one, or the the Neon and Futuro and Max Star match. One
It
of
was
those
good
two.
stuff. I don't have a lot for last Friday, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
last Friday was kind of a weird show.
yeah, the best match for me of the whole night. We were talking about it earlier. Hijo de Stuka Jr. and Stuka Jr. against Blue Panther and Hijo de Blue Panther. To
Yeah.
me, that was the best. That was the best match of the night. It was my favorite.
hmm
Um, Star Black and Akuma, they had a pretty good match. I think it could have been a little better.
hmm
It wasn't a bad match, but I think the Stukas versus the Panthers was better for me.
Yeah. The show was honestly just kind of like, I would say, maybe slightly below average. I think, like you were saying, I did enjoy the Stukas versus Panthers match a lot. I enjoyed it. It was set up like a usual Panthers match, but their formula works very well, and it meshed
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, it worked very well with the Stukas, and I mean, I just gotta say, I feel like not enough people have been saying, but Hijo de Stuka Jr. I mean, I feel like he's honestly one of the more underrated rookies that CML has right now.
I agree. I agree 110%. He's been getting more regular bookings in 2024, it feels like. Maybe towards the
Mhm.
end of 2023, he started getting booking a lot more too.
Yeah,
And he's been showing, like, he's been proving it every single time. Like, he belongs for sure.
yeah, he's been showing a lot of great stuff. I mean, especially with like whenever he teams up with Osviano, he's been showing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it makes it really fun too. Like, his matches are just so fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah, because it's like a thing where it's like even if Sandokan isn't with the rest of La Squadra, you can put Hijo de Stuka Jr. in there and it'll work just as fine.
Absolutely. was good stuff.
Yeah.
The main event, it was weird. It wasn't. There was a few hiccups. There was an injury. It probably threw off the order of a lot of things. But
Yeah, Niebla Roja got injured like pretty early into the match. He had to leave. Then that caused Villano Tercero Jr. to get like eliminated pretty suddenly by Volador. I think it was Volador that eliminated him like pretty suddenly. Um, our best assumption is that Niebla Roja was probably supposed to eliminate Villano Tercero Jr., but injuries, caused that to change.
yeah, so probably wouldn't recommend that one. If you want to go back and watch anything from that show, I would say maybe you don't have to watch
Yeah.
the Copa Junior VIP
Yeah. If you
qualifiers
want to watch a match, watch Panther versus Lucas or Akuma versus Star Black. Yeah, those are the best matches of the night.
for sure. But I will say Copa Junior VIP had a very unlikely winner.
Yeah,
I expected Volador Junior.
same here.
We got Star Junior.
Yeah, Star Ju and yeah, MLW's next top wrestler, Star Junior.
AEW superstar Star Junior.
Yeah, that's Star Junior. I thought I felt like 100% sure we're getting Volador Junior moving on because he was talking on Informa about, oh, I haven't won this tournament before and stuff like that. So I was like, Volador Junior has to win this match, right? Nope. Star Junior somehow pulls it off and wins the first eliminatoria.
I wonder who's going to win the second one now, honestly. Because a lot of people,
That's
the assumption
it's
was if
weird.
Volador won it, it would have been Místico Volador.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was even gonna be like, oh my, we're getting another Místico and Volador match when we already got one earlier this year. Do we really need another one? But nope. I'm I'm kind of glad we got that unexpected winner
Yeah. I wonder who he's going
because
to
it
match
makes
up
things.
against.
Here's the thing. I feel like Místico and Atlantis Jr. kind of have to be out already because if you look at the lineup for the second eliminatoria, CML doesn't often go with técnicos versus técnicos in tournament finals. I think the only one we've gotten this year was La Gran Alternativa.
Yeah.
La Gran Alternativa and La Copa, el Campeonato Universal tournament, but that's because, three dudes have to enter to that
Yeah,
match,
yeah.
so.
So we have,
But,
in this pool, Místico, Atlantis Jr., Ángel de Oro, Mephisto, Esfinge, Felino, Estuca Jr., Magnus, Dark Panther, and Hijo de Villano Tercero. I don't know. Stuka Jr.?
you see, I was thinking probably, honestly, I was thinking either Stuka Jr. or Ángel de Oro, because, like I was saying, I don't think Místico or Atlantis Jr. are winning, because, Técnico versus Técnico tournament finals aren't always super likely, and if Místico wins, that means that if he wins this upcoming Friday, that means that the next Friday, for the Copa Junior final, they'd be facing, and then the exact next day, they have a match in MLW for the MLW World Middleweight title.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that has to mean that Místico can't win. I feel like it, and then Atlantis Junior is like another big, técnico, so I feel like he can't win. So I was like, really, that only leaves like some of the rudos, and I'm like, Felino's not winning. Neither is Mephisto. So I feel like, so I feel it has to be, as much as I would love to see Hijo de Villano Tercero winning, I feel like they're not giving him, they're not going to give him that spot.
No, I don't think they give him that.
So I feel like it kind of has to, I feel like it kind of has to come down to Angel de Oro, Stuka Jr., or even Magnus, considering how much, they've been like slowly pushing him up the card this year.
Yeah. I think the one I like to see the most is probably Stuka Jr.
Yeah, same here.
Stuka Jr. delivers in big matches a lot, like more often than not, especially over the last year. Golly, dude, he's been cooking crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad with any of those three. I think my preference would probably be Angel de Oro just because of how great he is, but, I wouldn't be mad at Stuka winning either.
That'd be interesting to watch. I'll be tuned in because now I'm interested in seeing who gets out.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And I mean, that same show has, one of your favorite tag teams of all time, Cozy Max,
Cozy Max.
Kojima and Okumura versus Los Depredadores. I feel like it might lead to an MLW tag title match, honestly, because Cozy Max are the MLW tag champs right now, and I feel like they will put a tag title match or some type of title match for the Copa Junior final show. So I think it either has to be the MLW tag titles or it has to be uh Kira and Scali defending their national women's tag titles.
That would be nice. I like seeing them. So I like seeing Scotty and Kira.
Mhm.
They're up against. They're teaming on Friday actually with La Catalina against Tessa Blanchard,
Ugh. Yeah.
Persephone, and Valkyria.
The reason that I don't think they'll defend the titles is because Persephone is from Texas, but at the same time, they did use the excuse that Celsius has Mexican blood,
Yeah, yeah.
so she could challenge Reina Isis. So I feel like they could use the same excuse for Persephone if they used it for Celsius as well.
Persephone is really good too, honestly.
Yeah, she's been one of like the better talents. That's been like she's been improving.
Yeah, they keep booking her too. I like that.
Hmm.
She's really good. Hmm.
And then we have a revancha between the micros opener.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have a Kemalito, Chamuel, and Atomo going up against Micros Gemelos Diablo 1 and 2, and then Tengu.
I like the micros. I like them. I
I
think
like Kemalito.
he's really good, honestly.
You know,
He does some
I
fun
hope
stuff, bro. Like,
they better let me vote for Kemalito as Rookie of the Year whenever those ballots open.
bro. Speaking of micros, bro. Last night, just briefly talking about the CMLL show, the Tuesday show from last night from Arena Mexico. I didn't watch Martes de
Mhm.
Clamor, but I did watch most of the Tuesday show. Um, I only have two things to say really about it. The first thing, El Perico Zacarias, bro, he came out in his classic
Like his
green,
classic gear.
bro, the classic green fit. I was like, that's beast. First off,
All he was
um,
missing was the paliacate. That's all he was missing.
yeah, yeah. And then second, I guess the more important thing I wanted to say last night was um, Ryder. He was in a match. It was Max Star, Histórico, and Fuego against Ryder and La Ola Negra. For the most part, I enjoyed that match. But what I really want to say is Ryder and Fuego had some moments in that match where I was like, I really want to see them mano a mano now.
Like Camacho Relámpago.
Yeah, that would be good. Like because I don't know, I felt like they had some really good like chemistry together. Like they were just moving so smooth, really quickly. Fuego doing his little dance, bro. It gets me every time. I'm just like, let's go,
Amps
man.
up the crowd.
They should keep moving Fuego up the card.
I wouldn't mind it, but at the same time, he's up there in age. I think he's like 40. So I think he's like 40.
Really?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He's been there. He's been there for a while.
I wonder if I mean, I guess they book him not
I
like
feel like
super
he,
regularly, but enough,
yeah,
right?
but yeah, he gets booked enough, and I feel like for the position that he's in on the card, I feel like he plays his role pretty well.
He moves really well for 40, honestly. But I guess 40 is not as old as it used to be.
Yeah,
But Fuerza Poblana, they face off against Polvara, El Coyote, and Vegas. I like that for the most
I
part.
like
Parts of it, I
that.
feel like
That
parts of it
first
they were
Poblana
cooking.
team is. Yeah, yeah. I feel like especially like during the final stretch, I would say.
Bro, Guerrero Maya Jr. was kicking it up into another gear there at the end. I was like, wait a minute.
Dude, he's the best member of La Fuerza Poblana. That man, I feel he's underrated. He's underrated and underappreciated, for being honest.
He needs to train. He needs to train these guys and be like, if all three of you can get as good as me,
Yeah.
if we can.
Training
If the A team, because they.
the
Fuerza Poblana has what, like 5 guys in it?
six,
6 guys?
well, it's like 6, 7 guys maybe.
They all have sick gear. Probably
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sickest team gear. Maybe tied with Los Guerreros Laguneros.
Yeah.
Because I really like Ultimo Guerrero, Gran Guerrero, and Stuka Jr.
Their
when they
gear,
come out. Their gear looks so
their,
good.
Yeah, they got the sick gear. But yeah, I like La Fuerza Poblana's A team. I would say is definitely Guerrero Maya Junior, Stigma, and Pegaso.
They were beast. They did good. They did good. Atlantis Junior and Euphoria. It was good. I liked it. They started off really fast and they started off really hot too. It ended what, a DQ?
Yeah, because Euphoria decided to go for a foul again.
Yeah. I didn't really pay attention too much to the main event.
Or Atlantis Junior can't catch a break.
Yeah. I did like Soberano's half and half look though.
Yeah, that Soberano half and half look is awesome. I hope he brings out like different variations of it, like maybe like he has like because you know how he has like variants of like with like the blood, like the whole bloody mask and everything. Like he has like the black one with the gold and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hope he like does variations where it's like the black with the gold on one side, with like the golden blood on one side, and then maybe like on the other side it's like a purple gear, something like that.
I think it looked good. He just, I mean, he looks good in like all of his gear though. Honestly, like he rocks it really well, and he has good eye for designing gear. I guess. Well, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if he designs it himself or.
I mean, he probably comes up with the ideas, I would assume.
Yeah. He's got some good ideas then.
Yeah. And that was pretty much it for the Tuesday show. I want to move back a little bit. I want to move a little back to the Saturday show, where they had the main event of Soberano Jr. versus Volador Jr.
How was that? I didn't watch that.
I thought the match was good. It's not going to be like a Friday level effort, but I thought they worked pretty well, especially for like a Saturday show. I thought they were able to do some pretty good stuff. I really liked the way that that one of the falls ended. So Soberano was like teasing, taking off his shirt, and he's like taking it off slowly, and then Volador Jr. rolls him up.
No
1, 2,
way.
3. Fall is over.
That's pretty beast. I like that. That's creative. I like that.
Yeah, and then Soberano was like, "What the hell?" Now the shirt's like fully off. He's like, "Oh, come on!" Like, what the hell, man?
That was good. It matches both of them really well too. Honestly.
Yeah.
The very in character finish. I have Fantastica Mania on here. I didn't watch any of that. You wanna?
Oh, Fantastica Mania. Okay, yeah. I'll talk about Fantastica Mania. Yeah, I'll talk about some of the highlights from it. I want to say some of the highlight. Okay, so I'll start with show 1. I watched some of that one. I thought the best matches from show 1 were easily Barbaro Cavernario versus Robbie X. I thought that one was pretty good. I like Robbie X. He's one of the. I don't know too much about the UK wrestling scene, so I think Robbie X is one of the better ones from what I've seen. But they had a solid match. Then we had Ejiceto versus Connor Mills, which I thought was great. I mean, Ejiceto, he just keeps cooking with these singles matches. So, maybe if we get that Zack Sabre Jr. match, keep looking out for Ejiceto. And then the other big highlight that I want to talk about, Saya and Michael Oku versus Ultimo Guerrero and Ángel de Oro. 2v2 tag team. A really good match, I would say. Probably my second or third favorite from the first show, but with a surprising finish with Ángel de Oro pinning, the Ref Pro, undisputed. I think it's like undisputed British heavyweight champion, Michael Oku, which I don't think anyone was expecting like at all. And later on in the day, we would see what that would lead to. And the second show, I would say probably my favorite matches from the second show were Ultimo Guerrero versus Michael Oku. I really enjoyed that one. Místico Templario was, what you would expect from an Arena Mexico Friday main event, with Místico, but in the UK, so they worked well. And Saya versus Ángel de Oro, I thought that one was pretty good.
Besides, I heard that one was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was nice. I think Saya has a lot of potential, and honestly, if the Rev Pro and CML partnership continues to, I wouldn't mind seeing him come down to Arena Mexico, in the eventual future.
Yeah, let's just send him down. I haven't watched any of that show yet. I should. I probably will eventually, but I heard good things. I heard really good things. I heard it was a nice show. I heard that everybody looked good, and a lot of the CMLL guys went over. So
Yeah, and surprisingly, they won more match. They won a lot more matches, and I think honestly, the big shock from this second show, there was three title matches. So there was the Grizzled Young Veterans versus the Atlantis Junior and Atlantis for the undisputed British Tag Team Championship. There was Jordan Breaks versus Neon for the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship, and Ultimo Guerrero versus Michael Oku for the undisputed British Championship. And I was not expecting it, but Neon with a flash pin was able to defeat Jordan Breaks and became the new undisputed British Cruiserweight Champion.
that's crazy. That man,
So,
Neon, bro, bright future.
right, yeah, very very bright future, and I was surprised. I felt for sure that there's not going to be any title changes at all. You know, that's fine. It's whatever. But I mean, I would say it's a good call. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Neon, especially since he's now the undisputed British Cruiserweight Champion. He's probably going to be at Rev Pro's anniversary show, and most likely the British Jacob. So
That's good stuff. Honestly, wow. CMLL is doing really well with their partnerships, man.
yeah, I mean, if you think about it like this, Místico has a championship in MLW. He's the world middleweight champion. There, Okumura is teaming with Kojima, and he's a tag champion in MLW. Stephanie Vaquer is the New Japan Strong Women's Champion,
Yeah, now
and
Neon.
and now Neon has a championship in Rev Pro.
Honestly, like
I mean,
CMLL must I don't know,
they're doing
they
good.
must be really good at negotiating partnerships and stuff because these are interesting. Like these are actually interesting partnerships where one side doesn't just go in and lose, bro.
They're both benefiting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to. I think the AEW partnership, while it's cooled off, we haven't seen anything between CML and AEW since some of the Other Leyendas and Daniel Bryan and stuff. I don't really have any complaints about that right now, honestly. Would I like to see some more stuff happening? Yeah, but
Yes.
what they delivered already, I was already so satisfied with that
Yeah, it was solid, very solid.
I'm not it's better to let it cool off and not do anything than to try and do a bunch of filler stuff that
Yeah,
doesn't benefit anybody, you know?
yeah. Do it for big pay-per-views, Forbidden Door is coming up next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So I'm
if
thinking, oh, go ahead, sorry.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say, if you want, get some CML guys involved, maybe in a multi-tag man match.
Yeah. They don't have to they don't have to be a big part of the program or anything. They don't have to challenge for any belts, but maybe if you do want them to challenge for a belt, maybe put them in like you said,
Multi, yeah,
multi-man, like a
multi-man match,
trios.
yeah, trios, something like that, or even as simple as something like letting Titan, if Los Ingobernables de Japón are gonna have a match at Forbidden Door, let Titan or Sandokan Jr. Team with them.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be big. Um,
Yeah, but if Tony Khan wants to make a bold decision, I would say put those trios titles on Escuadra. I'm just throwing it out there.
hey, look, Tony Khan, he doesn't got the juice like that, dude. He can't do it. He doesn't know ball like that. You're talking about the same guy who had those trios titles on the Acclaim for
Yeah,
what felt like forever.
yeah. So, but if he's brave, he should do it.
Yeah, and that's not saying we're not just this isn't an anti AEW podcast. We're not grifters. We're not grifters. We swear. We're
Yeah,
saying
we're
good
not.
things too, but
Yeah,
that's
we
just
say good. Yeah, it's just we wish.
yeah. This is wishes.
But yeah,
We'll get
just
something.
wishes.
We'll get
But
something.
at the end of Fantastica Mania UK, after this very solid match that Ultimo Guerrero and Michael Oku put on, we had a surprise, from the first show because like I said, Angel de Oro pinned Michael Oku, and Angel de Oro comes out gets on the mic and challenges Michael Oku to a title match. And from what it seems like, it might happen either next month in June, or it might happen, some Friday in June, or it might happen at Fantastica Mania Mexico.
Ooh.
The bigger problem is though, well, let me state this first. We're recording this before the Informa. So if Michael Oku versus Ángel de Oro is announced for Fantastica Mania Mexico, just know that this was recorded before that Informa.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm sort of like debating this, because there's a lot of people also wanting Hechicero and Zack Sabre versus Zack Sabre Jr. to happen at Fantastica Mania Mexico, but it's very unlikely that we get 3 singles matches at the event, especially since Místico versus Hiromu was already announced to be the main event of the show.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I saw I think a lot of Cubs fans talking about that too, actually.
Yeah, so it could. So the match between Michael Oku and Ángel de Oro could happen at Fantastica Mania Mexico, or it could happen on a different show. Or what I think would be more likely is Michael Oku versus Ángel de Oro happens at Fantastica Mania Mexico, and Hechicero versus Zack Sabre Jr. happens at Fantastica Mania USA in July.
That'd be pretty good. I saw where Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just saying that. I was just going to say that since both Zack Sabre Jr. and Hechicero have been confirmed for Fantastica Mania USA.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. I saw where I think Wrestling Observer said they had to move the venue because Hassan Minaj was already booked, but then Rocky Romero was like, "We never booked that venue."
Yeah.
So I was like, "God, dude, Dave in the mud, bro!" Like.
Yeah, Dave in the mud yet again. Rocky having to step in and calling him out on his bullshit.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think when I read that at first, I was like, that doesn't seem like a mistake they would make if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And then it turns out they didn't. It was never booked. That was never booked. So
Lies.
Interesting. Yeah. We have some Mexican Indies news from you, right?
Yes, we do. But just before we move on to the Mexican Indies portion, I would just like to say, if you do decide to check out Fantastica Mania UK, absolutely check out the match between Michael Oku and Ultimo Guerrero, and check out Sosaya vs. Ángel de Oro.
I'll have to watch those. I'll have to go on my list.
Oh, and Místico vs. Templario, if you're just craving for a Friday sort of style Arena Mexico main event sort of match in the UK.
I wonder if does Dave rate Refro? Do they give star ratings for those?
I know that he rated the Osprey versus Michael Oku match from earlier this year.
What did he give that?
Like 6 stars, six
right.
something. Yeah.
Osprey, dude, that's the Osprey tax.
Yeah. So I know that he rated that match, but I think he rated the entire show as a whole. But yeah, that's going on. I'm going to be excited if Ángel de Oro versus Michael Oku does happen, because Ángel de Oro is such an underappreciated worker. Because how I put that tweet out, like I would say maybe a month ago now, where I was like, for the people that have gotten into CMO, within either this the few months of this year, last year, would have been the top guys that caught your attention immediately and that you became a fan of. And most of the responses, we would get Soberanos, Templarios, Bárbaro Cavernarios, Hechiceros, some Volador Juniors in there, Stephanie Vaquez, but I don't even think I saw one Ángel de Oro in any of those responses.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
He's pretty. I feel like he's pretty underrated. I mean, he was in my favorite match of last year.
Which I can understand. Here's the reason. I can understand why. Because whenever you think of these other dudes, Soberano, he's this handsome dude that he comes off as this charming dude, even though he's a rude and stuff like that, and he's really good in the ring. I understand that. Templario, this Templar knight comes out with a sword, just looks like a total badass, all tattooed up. I can understand that. He calls himself the Lion Warrior. you know, and other people like Hechicero. He calls himself the alchemist of the ring. You know, in his AEW, in his AEW Collision appearance, he came out and he had fire, so I can understand. But then you look at someone, like I'm not saying that he's bland or anything, but you look at someone like Angel Oro, he comes out. Sometimes he comes out in the, like the military sort of like camo, print like tracksuit, and I guess that doesn't seem, or that doesn't like stand out to most people. But like I feel like if more people, took notice of him and his matches, they'd realize like, damn, this guy's like one of the top workers in CML right now.
He's a beast, dude. He really is.
Yeah.
Like he has more often good matches than bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dog, like just this year alone. I mean, that recent match he had against Templario, great match.
Bro, last year when he, I guess, kind of helped guide that super injured volador through that apuestas, that was really good. Yeah. We should see. I think his stock will raise. His stock will keep going up.
Yeah, I think especially with the whole Michael, especially with if he has the the match with Michael Oku.
It was a really good match. Yeah, people are gonna really have to start paying more attention to him.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Good, yeah, lots of good stuff. And also, actually, should I announce this? Well, I'll announce this for now, but hopefully, no one from the CML office is listening to this podcast, or they haven't taken notice. But there's a show in August that's in Colorado, right? There's a CML talent that's being booked. Hijo de Octagon and Atlantis Jr. are being booked.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger, thing that caught my attention, because Rob Viper tweeted about this, Los Hermanos Chavez are in a tag match. It's a three-way tag team match. And it's Los Hermanos Chavez, and then guess who one of the other teams is?
It was like ex-AAA guys, right?
Mm-hmm. It was Ares and Latigo.
That's crazy, bro. I don't.
So,
well, yeah.
They've already cut ties with AAA, so
yeah,
we don't know what's going to happen. They might have to change the card, or they might not. We'll have to see. But that show is in August, so whenever that show comes around, we'll see if Los Hermanos Chavez do end up facing Ares and Latigo.
Definitely
interesting stuff.
Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and also that means Los Hermanos Chavez have U.S. work visas. So there's no reason why. Yeah, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get some great CML World Tag Title defenses in the USA soon. Give me Los Hermanos Chavez versus the Workhorsemen versus Violence is Forever. Hell, give me them versus a Top Flight. Yeah,
that'd be pretty beast.
Or give me them versus Private Party.
Tell me about this AMLL show.
Okay, so this AMLL show. Oh, okay. So for the people that aren't aware, AML is a promotion that runs in La Comarca Lagunera. The area where a lot of wrestlers come from, like Ángel de Oro, like I was just mentioning. Soberano comes from there. Lots of other iconic wrestlers come from that area. But AML runs here, and they're running this tournament for the first time ever. La Copa El Elegante del Ring Segundo. And basically, this upcoming Sunday show on May 26th is going to have qualifying, round one qualifying matches for the six-pack elimination challenge to determine the winner of La Copa El Elegante del Ring Segundo. And so, what I've been told by Ángel El Elegante is that El Elegante del Ring, the first one, El Elegante del Ring Primero, is going to be at the show, and that he's going to be commemorated for his years as a referee and as a part of the Boxy Lucha Libre Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted, since this is like their first time running this tournament, I wanted to go over some of the opening matches, and sort of predict who's going to move on. Because I know you haven't. I don't think you've watched much AML.
I've not, unfortunately. I should, but I have not.
Yeah. But I wanted to give my predictions on it because I feel like I want to bring more eyes to AML and their product because it's free on YouTube, and I feel like more people should be checking it out. Honestly, so their qualifying matches. Let me go over. I'll go over them one by one. So the first one that we have is Guerrero Lagunero versus De Zulum. For this match, I have Guerrero Lagunero winning. I've seen more. I haven't seen as much De Zulum, so I can't speak too much on him. But I've been impressed from what I've seen of Guerrero Lagunero, so I think Guerrero Lagunero will take this. The second match of the show is going to be Shunga Shunga Jr. versus Rey Arabe. And, you know, who knows that I've talked about Shunga Shunga Jr. in the past.
Sure.
So, I think the 6-pack challenge is at least going to have 2 or 3 heels. So I think Shunga Shunga Jr. winning here is probably the best choice. And then following that, we have Fantástico versus Guerrero Azteca Jr. I'm thinking Fantástico wins here to sort of, build back that connection of, Shunga Shunga Jr. beating him for his AML World Welterweight Championship. And, maybe they'll have some confrontation in the 6-pack challenge. And then the fourth match, we have the fourth singles match, first round. We have Vengador Celestial versus Mr. Thunder, and I'm a big Mr. Thunder fan, so I'm thinking Mr. Thunder. I'm thinking Mr. Thunder's winning this immediately. Then we have the semi-main event for this show, which is probably probably the biggest name, or like the biggest sensation that's been talked about from this like area so far. La Comarca Lagunera, Sonic versus King Perio. And as much as it pains me, okay, so I'm going back and forth on this one because I'm thinking King Perio's gonna win. I'm thinking King Perio's moving on because Sonic still has I feel like he still has 1 or 2 more years if they're going to keep doing this tournament annually. I feel like he could win it either next year or 2 years from now. So I'm thinking that. So I'm thinking Fantástico can move on, and Sonic can just win it another year. But then again, I'm like, Sonic in the 6-pack challenge, he could have a lot of great spots that he could do. So I'm going back and forth on this. But if I have to pick someone, I'm gonna have to go with Sonic, because Sonic in a 6-pack challenge doing a bunch of spots with a lot of these dudes just sounds insane. So I gotta go with him.
I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Yeah.
You're selling it to me right now. You're selling it to me.
And then the main event, Angel Azteca Jr. versus Aristo, which I think this was probably going to be the best match of the first round. Because Angel Azteca Jr., he just gets it. He gets Lucha Libre, man. And I think Angel Azteca Jr. is taking this. And he is my choice to actually win La Copa El Elegante del Ring Segundo.
Damn.
Because I feel like if you're doing this tournament for the first time, you gotta go with you gotta go with one of the household names, or one of like the bigger household names. So I'm thinking Angel Azteca Jr. Especially after he recently lost like a few weeks ago. I think it was almost a month ago now that he lost. It was like a singles match against El Cavernario Galindo Jr. I feel like he has to bounce back, and I feel like he's going to win this tournament.
And what time does this show start on YouTube?
Oh, the show isn't streamed. The show is not streamed live, but it's going to be. Yes, it's going to be uploaded. It's usually uploaded in like very early Monday morning. So the show is on Sunday, but Angel Elegante and his crew are going to upload it around like it's going to be uploaded like very early-ish, like Monday morning. So like if you wake up at I don't know, like around 6-ish, 7-ish, somewhere around that, depending where you are, the whole show will probably be up by then.
Oh wow! All right, yeah. Something to watch next Monday then. I'm not watching Raw, so.
Yeah, so if you wanna, don't watch Raw. If you want to watch Lucha Libre, watch this AML show. I'll probably make a playlist, and I'll probably I'll probably compile the matches and put them in a playlist, and I'll put like AML, and then I'll put the date, Copa Elegante del Ring Segundo in order, and then you can just watch the show.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out.
So yeah,
Interesting stuff.
well,
Interesting stuff. Thank you for bringing that, because I'm not as tuned into the Mexican Indies as you, especially not AMLL. I know you really appreciate them and a lot of the guys they have. So it's
because
good
I
to
feel
know.
like
Yeah.
they just bring, because you've heard me complain about, you've heard me
Yeah.
talk badly about La Puerquiza, talents from like the Mexico City indie scene,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
La Puerquiza Extrema, El Negocio
Negocio
Traumado.
Traumado. Yeah.
Yeah, people like Hijo de Fishman, you know, Pirata Morgan Sons, guys like that.
Not your style. Not what you're into, really.
Yeah, just like that whole style, and then you just add it up with what they do over in IWRG and I don't know Calpan. It's just
It's
it's
not
just
that
not for
real.
me.
It's not that real.
Yeah, it's to me at least it's just not good, and it's just so repetitive and boring. But whenever I see talents like in AML and La Comarca, I see talents like Angel Azteca Jr., Sonic, Shunga Shunga Jr., Mr. Thunder, Imperio. I see like these guys, and I'm like, these guys are they're developing, but I can tell that they're learning, and they should be bigger names. Hopefully sooner, in the near future, they should be bigger names. Hopefully.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good stuff, honestly. Um, we are nearing here the end soon.
Oh yeah, we have to
Yeah. I
before
get
we wrap up near the end. Let's talk about the Triplemania match that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
got switched.
So you brought it. Oh, her Cubs fan tweeted it maybe
Yeah,
first. I think
yeah, yeah.
he noticed it first. So this is all credit to him. Kyle Fletcher was originally booked to team with Nick Wayne and
SEMA.
oh yeah, and SEMA. It's a match for the Copa Bardal. They're not doing
Yeah,
the battle royal, but they're going up against Laredo Kid, Octagon Junior, and
Commander.
Commander. Yeah. But Kyle Fletcher got replaced, pulled and replaced with Blake Christian.
The
So
guy, the guy that has like 8 points right now in the best of Super Junior. Yep, that guy.
the guy who beat Titan.
The guy that beat Titan. Yep. The guy who gets a lot of flashback for doing a bunch of unnecessary flips, and I can understand the criticism.
Yeah, I can understand that criticism. I don't really watch a lot
Yeah,
of his matches, but a lot of stuff that I've seen, I'm just like, he could get to the destination in a shorter distance, if that makes sense,
yeah.
and probably I don't know, might look a little better.
So
I understand flash and flare, but sometimes you can tone it down a little bit, and it still has as much impact.
exactly.
I don't know, but
But yeah,
some people were
Blake
saying that
Christian.
match might not, that he might get pulled too. So
Yeah, because the reason is if he's I don't here's the thing. I don't think Blake Christian is I don't think he's dumb. I don't think Blake Christian is dumb enough to work one triple mania just to have his possibilities of working for New Japan again in the future revoked. I don't think he's will. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that dumb.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe I wonder who they'll put in instead, though. Like, who do you have
Who
captain
knows?
that team?
Who knows?
I can't even think of nobody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy.
But not only was Kyle Fletcher replaced, and replaced by Blake Christian, but they also added a third team. This is supposedly the official team Crash, supposedly, or I guess these are more the Crash guys because they added to the same match for the Copa Bardal. They added Deluxe, Destiny, and Noisy Boy.
Hmm. What do you think about that?
And
Good addition, bad addition?
good addition, good addition for good addition in Destiny and Noisy Boy. I haven't seen too much of Deluxe, so I can't speak too much on him.
Some good
But
talent in
Noisy
that
Boy,
match, honestly.
yeah, this probably has like the most potential to be probably like the one good match on this Triple Mania card.
Yeah, unfortunately for them.
Besides the Dinastias match, because I could see maybe Brazo de Oro Jr. carrying his team.
Might go hard. I was gonna say
maybe.
one last thing before we wrap up, very briefly. Hijo del Santo, he did his little press conference for his retirement. He's starting his retirement tour. From what I gathered, I also saw Cubs fan do a really good write up on it as well. Hijo del Santo, I saw the dates, all Mexico dates except for one in London, 2 nights in London. Besides that, he's going all across Mexico. Nothing for US or Canada yet. I say yet because I think he mentioned the possibility of maybe doing a US date. If he did a US date, I feel like I would want to go, honestly.
Yeah, same
you
here.
know, like if he did like Chicago,
yeah,
I think I would love to go see that, or like even maybe LA. I would go to LA for that. I've never been to LA. But
I mean, it's a retirement tour, so
yeah, his retirement tour. He did say he might add more stops to it, but he doesn't want to go for too long, depending on how he feels and like his health and stuff. There were a couple of things that kind of broke my heart a little bit. Somebody asked about maybe Negro Casas facing off against him one more time. And I think Hijo del Santo said no because Negro Casas is AAA. And yeah. And then
allow him.
I also saw, this one just shattered me. He has officially ruled out a return to Arena Mexico. So that's not happening. I know in the past I did see where he said maybe if they came to the table, but now it's looking like he's past it and he's not interested in Arena Mexico anymore. So yeah, we'll see what comes of it. There have been some good talks about it. I know Rob Viper was talking on Twitter about how some people announce their retirement tours and then they just don't retire. Interesting to see. I think Hijo del Santo, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people do that. That's a fair, that's a very fair criticism. A lot of people were like, yeah, I want to retire. And then they just go another year and then another year and another year. So,
because like even Fuerza Guerrera was like, I'm not retiring until like my heart stops beating.
Yeah. So we will see. Time is the only thing that can tell if he actually stops.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though, as long as he keeps going and like he feels good, and I guess the matches are good, and he looks good in the ring. Do what you must, but in the past we've seen a lot of retirement tours never really retire, so just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, just keep that in mind.
But we do appreciate Hijo del Santo here. A lot of great matches.
Great wrestler.
Yeah.
Great wrestler, even though he's had, his fair of controversies with the whole Santo name and stuff like that.
Axel in the mud, bro.
Yeah.
Might be the last. I was just gonna say, might be the last guy with a Santo name.
Yeah, because Santo Jr. He's nowhere to be seen.
Santo Jr. said, "I'm not trying to do this, man. This hurts." Like,
tough. Yeah, he's gone.
Tough sport.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tough sport.
I do actually think
go ahead. Before we wrap up, I kind of did want to shed light because I feel like some people might not take a lot of notice to this, but it was announced recently that Pequeño Nitro sadly passed away.
Heartbreaking. I did read that. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, that I believe Loss was telling us that his final few days that he was like just living on the streets and that they had found his body.
That's very tragic. It's a hard life. It can be a really hard life. Godly.
So, prayers to Pequeño Nitro's family and friends,
For sure.
Fortunate loss of a wrestler.
Yeah. That's hard. It's really hard to hear, honestly. That's tough.
Yeah.
But, just try and take care of the people around you and stuff and check up on them because that's rough. That's really rough.
Yeah. Never know, man.
It's a rough life. It can be a really rough life.
Rough life, especially in sport like lucha libre.
Exactly. It can give you everything and it can take everything. So it is tough. But unfortunately, I think that is the end of our episode for today. Not to leave on too much of a sad note, it is a very tragic passing, and our hearts are with the friends and family of Pequeño Nitro. So, thank you all for listening. Again, appreciate you so much. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or general statements, please send them to theclublucha@gmail.com. That is theclublucha@gmail.com. Folk, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Like I've said before, if you want to follow me, I am at FH isn't real on Twitter/X, and just keep watching Lucha Libre and support the world of Lucha.
Keep listening to this podcast.
Yes.
All right. Appreciate you all so much for listening. Until next time, we'll catch you later.